Sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smash that subscribe button, turn on the notifications so you are notified each time I upload, and please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you all so much, and I am saying a very big shout out to every one of you for all the love and support you all give me here. I am truly grateful. Thank you all so much. So today we'll be talking something very important, and this is helping Ray and C's Clean House Part 5, and this is Cadillac addiction. And he actually went further to tell us a whole lot about this Cadillac and how Black Americans and all that turned so many things around. And he also talked about his experience being a Ray and C, because people ask him, how did you what made him stop being Ray and C's to Black people? And he went further to explain that he hated Black people for no just reason. And he was a former Ray and Cis, hated Black people for no reason, not because they did something to him, but because he just hated them, right? And so he had an encounter while in prison that actually changed his entire life. And since then he came out and has been a great ally to Black people, and also preaching to his own community, because like I keep saying, Black people have been screaming and talking about all this for a longer time, and they are now like chilling, because I feel like it is Black people that should teach themselves, because white people that should teach themselves about this Ray and season thing, because you all know Black people have been on this wanting to talk and preach about, say a lot about it, but it looks like it is better when white people talk to themselves, so Black people can chill and watch them do their thing. Stay glued, because I'm just gonna roll this clip. We'll come back to talk about it, and I absolutely want to read all your comments. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. And straight up, I am rolling there.
Helping Races Clean House, Part 5, the Cadillac Edition. How Black America saved Cadillac. Now I'm willing to bet this is going to be by far the most interesting story you are going to hear all day. Boy, my freckles really come out in the sun, don't they? The truth be told, I think Cadillac is probably America's most well-known biracial brand. Have I got your attention yet? Now, I asked Boo Boo here what he knew about Cadillac, and he didn't know a damn thing. Most people don't. Do you know Cadillac was formed in 1902 from the remnants of Ford? I kid you not. Henry Ford had 2 failed car companies before starting Ford Motor Company. His second was the Henry Ford Company, and in 1902 it went under, and he was selling off the assets, and a man named Henry Leland, along with 2 investors, bought the company and renamed it Cadillac. Have you ever wondered where the name Cadillac comes from? I might know a thing or two about that. Antoine de la Mothe Cadillac is the man who discovered Detroit, Michigan in 1701. Now, in 1909, General Motors acquired Cadillac, and they became America's top luxury auto manufacturer. But when the Great Depression hit in the late 1920s, everything went to crap for everybody, including Cadillac. They lost 84% of their sales in a 5-year span from 1928 to 1933, and General Motors convened their board to put Cadillac on the chopping block. My girl maybe put that in there. It's a yucca plant or something, I don't know. So Cadillac had the board convened in 1933, and in walked Nicholas Dreystadt, a German-born man, lived here in America, who was a genius mechanic and head of Cadillac's service division. He came in and said, I can turn Cadillac around in 18 months. Naturally, the board called BS on him, but was curious how. He said, I travel to our service centers and dealerships all around the country, and I see elite Black American driving our Cadillacs, the doctors, the lawyers, the entertainers. He goes, but Cadillac has a policy where we discourage sales to people of color because we don't want it to tarnish the brand. And he goes, these Black Americans are paying white men $300 on top of the price of the car to buy the car for them so they can drive caddies. He goes, I bet if we take that away and we just open the doors, I think we can turn Cadillac around. They agreed. And in 1934, Cadillac did just that. Sales went up 70% in 1 year. Black Americans bought so many Cadillacs, it literally changed the fortunes of the company. Now remember, Cadillac was hurting as a brand because banks had failed, right? White America lost all their savings, everything. Well, the funny thing about the law of unintended consequences, if you remember, a lot of Black Americans could not get loans from banks and could not keep their money in banks. So I don't really ever see this talked about, and I find this fascinating. But I know a lot of Black Americans had to keep money hidden away at home, the backyard, the mattress, or whatever. So when the Great Depression hit and the banks failed, Black Americans not being able to put their money in banks were protected. And they were able to buy these cars, luxury items, in the middle of the Great Depression and turn Cadillac around. In a way, I think Cadillac transcends all races. Now, Cadillac has owned their history when they wouldn't sell to African Americans and then began to. They've actually owned that, okay? So no shade to Cadillac whatsoever. And they were also, I cannot prove they were definitively the first company, but I know they were one of the very first auto manufacturers to consult with Black employees about car design ideas to make the car more appealing to all Americans. And I think this worked. My dad's dream car was a Cadillac Sedan DeVille. In 1986, we got one, silver, red leather interior. He drove that thing to the Baptist church like he was boss freaking hog. That man loved that Cadillac. But here's the thing, a Black man, a Hispanic man, an Asian man, anybody could pull up to him of a different race in a Cadillac, and they start talking Cadillac stories, they're family instantly. Go to any car show and watch the same phenomenon happen. Most of you, depending any color you are or race, your parents or grandparents probably owned a Cadillac at one point or another. So it's just kind of funny how white America started and built this brand. Black people worked there, couldn't buy the cars. Cadillac realized the error of their ways and opened the doors all the way. And look at the success of Cadillac today. So that's kind of why I think they're the most well-known biracial brand in America. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have a great weekend. What caused me, a former card-carrying racist, to change my perspective and see the world like I do now? I knew this question was coming. It's been asked me a lot of times, and I didn't know how I wanted to verbalize it. You know, I dated a girl with biracial kids years ago that I adored and loved. You spend 23 and 1 with a person of color in a prison cell. You get to know them really well. You have to get along. You ask questions. You listen. You learn. I mean, I'd love to tell you it's all these experiences, but being transparent, truth be told, I didn't have the strength and courage to do this on my own. I lacked that to have enough to fight this disease is the best way to say it. So I give absolute credit to God because he set me on this path. I realize I'm called to serve, and other people by that I mean, and he pulled back the curtain. And I've always been the type of man, once I know something or I see something, I can't unsee it or unknow it. Now I might have stayed willfully ignorant to some things because I know how the man I am. Once I know it, it's going to change me. So I might have purposely ignored things. I'll admit that. But once I really delved into this, and it basically got down to me, I solved problems by looking at it and then immediately stepping 180 degrees into the other side of the equation and looking at it. So I asked myself two easy questions. And have you never met anybody who can answer them? The first one I asked myself, what did Black America or people of color ever do to me? Now, I'm not talking about having a beef with another human being as a person of color. I'm talking about as a whole, as a community. Thought long and hard about it. Couldn't answer it. And then I asked myself, what has the shield of racism, this powerful kryptonite against Black people, how has it protected me? It hasn't. It never will. My racism is a disease of the heart and mind. And one of the hardest parts about this journey is you're going to have a identity crisis or crisis of character because you have to admit that your character is flawed, it's corrupt, part of it, and that you're wrong, and you've been taught wrong, and you've believed wrong, and you were just fundamentally wrong. And that is hard for a lot of people's egos. But I'm going to tell you, when you come on the other side of this and you get past this and you learn to forgive yourself for thinking this way about people you don't even know, because you're going to have to do that. But once you do, the world is so beautiful. The colors are brighter. The sound is more melodious. Things taste better. You have a different perspective. It's healthier. It's hard. It's something I will fight subconscious bias for the rest of my life. But it's a fight I'm now prepared for. Hope that answers your question. Have a great evening.
All right, this is all we got from this video, and you all probably might have seen his videos like a lot on my channel, because like he has been on cleaning the house, like races 1, 2, 3, 4, and this was the 5th one. And I think this is very interesting, and also I love how he kind of how he came out from being so rare and cis to African American to Black people, to knowing that man. I think he had an encounter with a Black person in prison that actually changed his his total view on Black people, and also made him understand how rare and sick he has been all these years, and not like Black people did something. Now let me tell you all something. You see all this rare and sick, not like Black people did them something, but probably because they grew up and they have been seeing people around them, hating on them, like not wanting to associate, like trying to be horrible to them and all that. They also grow up also acting the same way they see other people act around them, right? So I have really found out that most of them really may not have had an encounter with Black people, or had Black friends, but they just completely do not want to see Black people. They just don't want to hear anything about Black people. And then all the time, it has always been one experience that changes the whole thing. And I am happy for him, because he has really been on this game, calling out on his people, on their rate, the season, about Black people and the rest of it. And that is kind of encouraging, like I keep saying, Black people, they have been hammering on this and all that. And then, but it's kind of amazing that they are really the one doing the job right now. So Black people get to get some rest, back off, and watch them do the fighting, because he's been them fighting all this battle all those years. This is where I am going to draw the curtain, and I really do appreciate you all. Thank you all so much for all the love and support. I am going to see you all in my next video. Bye for now.